Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the start of a reading vlog. Now I don't do too many of these on this channel for a variety of reasons, but I really wanted to do this one because I'm reading your recommendations today. So I ran a 3K giveaway a little bit ago and you guys recommended me some books, and I am taking the recommendations that had more than one person suggest that I read these books, and one of these books even had like 4 or 5 of you that were like, you have to read this book. So I'm reading them. I'm reading these books, and you guys, I am so stinking excited. I'm going to share the 3 books because it's 3 books that I'll be reading in this vlog. I'm going to share them with you right now, and I probably won't give you too big of a synopsis, but let's just get into it. So I'm going to be reading this book, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is about an octopus and like a 70-year-old woman. So I feel like it's more of a like contemporary book. So I'm reading that one in this vlog. I'm also reading this book, which I'm really excited about, and that is The Passage by Justin Cronin. So this is more of an apocalyptic end of the world, like science has screwed everything up and now mankind has to kind of fight back against that sort of book. And it's just the first book in a whole trilogy. And then this one, this is the one that you guys recommended the most, which is The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. This is a historical fiction novel about a midwife in like the late 1700s America, just post-Revolutionary War. So you guys, they're so different, all of these books, but I am so stinking excited to get into all of them. So let's just hop in because I feel like this might be a bit of a lengthy vlog. I'm going to hop in though with a book that I have already started. I've already started this book. I'm about 130 pages into this book. You guys, this is such an interesting book so far. I feel like I understand now why you all recommended this book to me. I think it's because of my recent love of The Collected Regrets of Clover. That's the book I'm thinking of. So I think that's why you all recommended this to me. Now, this is about an octopus named Marsalis and then a woman named Tova. She's like in her 70s and she's going through kind of a rough time in her life. She's a little bit lonely. She lost her husband, she lost her son. She is currently working as a nighttime janitor at the aquarium where she gets to know Marsalis. And so I'm really enjoying her character. There is another character involved, I forget his name, but we're getting to know him and I feel like he's gonna have to tie in somewhere. I understand that that's probably gonna happen. I feel like where I'm at right now, at 130 pages or so, is I'm enjoying the character development because I'm a character-driven reader, for sure. I feel like the plot is a little lacking at this point. I'm not quite sure what's going on or what's even going to happen. Right now, we're just kind of really getting to know the people. I'm sure they're going to merge. And I'm sure like I'm going to come back in the next clip and be like, oh, it was so great. I get it. I get why they're connected. But at this point, I'm just a little bit like, I could use a little bit more. I could use more plot. So anyway, that's where I'm at in this book. I've also roughly started The Passage, like literally like, I think I'm 50 pages in. I had already picked this book up because I was interested in it, so I was super excited to see that some of you recommended it to me, and it is reading to me similar to Stephen King's The Stand, which I just didn't predict that. I feel like it's a bit of the like how it's being written, like it's very descriptive. It's a little bit of slice of life at first because you need to get to know these characters, and it's going from like chapter to chapter where you're like deep diving into these characters and you have no idea why they matter or what's going on. I feel like we're still in that. I'm getting glimpses of kind of the bigger, broader plot, but I'm only 50 pages in. So anyway, that's my first thoughts of that. But what I'm gonna do, my plans are to finish this book first, and then probably The Passage, and then Frozen River. So maybe I'll put timestamps below in case some of you are just like, I wanna know your thoughts on the Frozen River because that's been so popular. And I'm excited to pick these all up. I feel like if I were to rank them, I feel like I'm gonna like this one the most, followed by The Frozen River, and then Remarkably Bright Creatures. I think that's how it'll land out, but I guess we'll see. We'll see at the end to see if this was the correct ranking, but that's my inklings going into these recommendations and these books. So I'll leave you here and I'll check back in when I've probably finished Remarkably Bright Creatures. friends, so I'm checking in because I actually finished the book. I predicted that I was going to finish it rather quickly, and I totally did. It was really easy to read. I was also listening to it on audio while I was doing a lot of projects because it's my summertime and I do a lot of projects. I declutter the house and we have a really big yard project. Maybe I'll show you because I feel like this video is going to take a while for me to film to get all of these books in and books read. And over the course of that time, I'll probably finish my yard project, which is to put some rubber mulch around our play set. So maybe I will just take you guys. Let me just flip the camera. Okay, there it is. And it's so full of weeds and it's like, we've got a lot of work to do, clearly. And so, yeah, maybe I'll kind of show you some clips of it. Not too much because I'm not very good at vlogging. I just want to tell you about the books, honestly, more so than show you too much of my life, although that is fun. I enjoy watching that kind of stuff. I want to talk about the books because you guys recommended these to me. A couple of you did, and you were so spot on. So this one is about the octopus and the woman who works at the aquarium. And last time I was talking about the fact that I felt like there wasn't as much of a plot. You know what? I still kind of stand behind that. I still kind of stand behind that assessment of the book. But I adjusted my expectations because I realized that that's not what this book's about. It's more about grief. It's more about like finding and allowing yourself to be loved and family and all of those things. And so once I was able to kind of let go of the expectation of a straightforward plot, I realized that that's not really what this book was. And I feel like the reason I got this recommended is because I liked the Clover book, The Collected Regrets of Clover. I can see the similarities, not quite. I think I like that book more than this book, but I still enjoyed this. This is a 4-star. There was a lot about it I really did love. I did love the kind of tension in figuring out how all these characters were connected, because that was my struggle at first, you guys. Was like, why do we care? Why do we have all these characters? Yes, it was well written, like I mentioned last time, but what was the connection? So I really did enjoy the connection and figuring that out. I really enjoyed the octopus, right? Marcellus, he's just so fun. It was a fun way to tell the story, to just kind of shout out this really smart and intelligent creature. It also kind of did bring forward the concept of enclosure, animal enclosures. Should we do this, especially to some of these animals who are intelligent? I mean, any animal, right? Just because they're intelligent, but it's like, can you imagine spending your life in a box sort of idea? And so it did touch upon that issue. But I would say for me, 4 stars. 4 stars for sure. And now I'm going to move on, I think, to the passage. So that. Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog that might take me all summer to make, but that's okay because summer's busy and summer is wonderful. We did finish the backyard project. I'll pop up some pictures. It went really well. It looks so much better. My kids play out there all the time, which is fantastic. And so we did that. I've been doing tons of homeschool prep. I don't know if you follow me on that channel, but I've been cleaning out the homeschool room and reorganizing all of our paperwork, all the paperwork. So it's been busy, but it's been good. But I do have another book that I'm going to pick up for this vlog. And so I can't remember exactly how much I was telling you as I introed this video, but The Passage by Justin Cronin. This is a trilogy of really pretty thick, pretty dense writing. It is a really interesting book. So let me just give you a quick synopsis and then I'll talk about the first 200, 300 pages I've read. So this is about an apocalyptic world. And as the story is starting out, we are meeting kind of some of our main characters, this special agent, as well as this 6-year-old girl named Amy. And they're involved in this kind of government project that is a little shady and things start to go wrong. And this all happens kind of in these beginning chapters. Now it is stated on the back, actually it does give you quite a bit of information on the back. So I didn't read this ahead of time and I don't recommend reading it. So I'm not gonna read it to you right now, but it does mention the fact that Amy, our 6-year-old in this story, is key to kind of the survival of humanity, if you will. So there is kind of a pandemic-esque thing going on at the beginning that involves the government and some things happen, right? Okay, I don't want to go too much into detail there because I think it is really a fun book to explore. Now, I'm about, like I said, 300 pages in. The book is like 750 pages long. So it is a beast of a book. Now, it is a very dense book, but dense in an interesting way, at least to me. I feel like I'm enjoying the character development. Like the beginning, you're really spending time with each character and you're trying to figure out how they all tie together. Then it felt like a lot of things happened all at once, and then it kind of all crashed. And now we're almost starting a new storyline, which one of you actually mentioned that to me when you were recommending this book, or at least when I said that I was reading it, is that there's like a place kind of midway where it seems like you're starting over, which usually I do not like that in books. That makes me think of what book? It was by Susan Meisner, Only the Beautiful. I did not like how I felt like I had to restart, get to know new characters, but I think it was nice being warned of that. And I'm also kind of envisioning the scope of this whole series, that it makes sense that we are not starting over, but starting with a different thread. It's so hard to explain this book. So many people love it. I can see why so many people don't pick it up though, because it's really intimidating. The writing is kind of dense and it feels like almost too much description or too verbose at times. But I feel like there's a reason for all of it, or at least I'm hoping that, especially on some of these characters. But I'm liking it so far. I'm really enjoying it so far. This is so different from what I've read recently, but yet it's reminiscent of what I've always liked. So that's where I'm at. I will keep you updated, hopefully a little bit more as we go. I just wanted to kind of do the intro for this one on like what the book is about, because there's a point where I can't really tell you much more. But I'm making progress. Oh yeah, I did cut my hair. I told a lady to take off like all the unhealthy hair and the split ends, and she cut off so much of it. But I like it. I still think it looks nice. But anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I hope this doesn't take me all summer to film this video, but even a number of you recommended this to me. You were right. Now, I'm not done. I'm not done with the book. I am 500 pages in. Yeah, I'm 500 pages in. Where to start? I need to collect my thoughts to be able to tell you what's going on. Because when I left you last, I think I was talking about the fact that the book had just made this like huge transition. I don't want to say exactly what happened, but it kind of was like almost a restart to the book. Something happened and you're almost getting to know a whole new situation and characters and things like that. But I got to know the characters and I'm really enjoying it. And it's the scope of the work is so good. And really, I can't wait to tell you what I think at the end of this book. But then there's two more books. There's two more books, which I'm not going to read in this vlog, obviously. I feel like I would recommend this book to you if you like kind of big scope books that are just feel clever, because you have to commit to like being in this book. So, because some parts are a little bit slower, some parts are definitely developing characters, they're developing the situation, but yet there's so much intrigue as to like what exactly is going on that to me, I'm sold, I'm invested, I want to know, I'm going to be there till the end. But I can see how some people might get disappointed in this book. I mean, honestly, it is an apocalyptic type book. It's apocalyptic, it's horror-esque. I always say I don't like horror, but this kind of book doesn't feel like just shock value horror or like scary, ghosty sort of horror. I mean, there are some like things that are quite disturbing and scary, and it makes the book intense, and it makes the characters that you are following and loving, like you care about what's happening to them, right? And the things that are out there are kind of scary. But I don't know if I would put it in like horror, because I think of horror and I think of like Pet Sematary, which I've never read, nor do I intend to ever read that. But this feels like the horror is just part of the clever story that is necessary, but it's not the focus. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if you have the patience and if you have the ability to wait through it all, I think the payoff's going to be good. But I'll let you guys know in the next clip. But I have like 250 pages left and it's so good. It is so good and I am loving it. All right. Hey guys. So I'm sitting out here. Maybe I'll set you down. I'm sitting out front because I want to give you an update. I finished the book. I finished The Passage by Justin Cronin. You guys, I really liked it. I feel like it's a very unique book, and I think I've talked about this in the past, so I'm going to try not to repeat myself. I think I'm going to land on like a 4.5 stars, which just means I'm rounding it up to 5. But, you guys, I love the scope. I love how big it is. I love how epic this book feels. I love how we figured some things out at the end. Some like key things, some essential things to help you understand or help me understand kind of the storyline, but also to set up the next couple books to see kind of how some things could resolve. And then you can be like, okay, well then there's these bigger problems. There's more. Like the next book is called The 12, which makes complete sense if you are reading the book or if you have read the book. I'm really excited to see what happens. I feel like there's also some breadcrumbs. There's some things left undone. There's some like people that feel like maybe they have kind of a bigger, broader purpose, and they're like, other than like the girl, right? Amy, the little girl who's gonna like save the world sort of idea. But then there's some key players from kind of like the second half of the book that are also playing a part, and how much they play a part or how like destined they are to play a part is kind of still being discussed, and it's really, really, really fun. I'm really liking it. I'm liking the world. It's kind of like fantasy, where I love big, epic worlds, right? But this is not fantasy. And I love that I can enjoy a kind of a big series without it having to be fantastical, which, I mean, I enjoy those books, right? But it's fun to have just kind of like something different. So next I'm going to read The Frozen River, which actually was the one that you guys recommended the most. I'm really excited. It's a really funny read to read in the middle of summer because it's kind of like all wintry and snowy and all of these things, but I'm excited to get into Ariel Lawhon's writing. She just sucked me in with her other book, and I've heard nothing but good things. But yay, I'm done. I'm done with The Passage. 5 stars. You guys were right. So I've had a 4-star and a 5-star. Amazing. But anyway, I'll check back with you after I get a little ways into The Frozen River. All right, guys, welcome back. I am going to give you my update on this book. I'm 160 pages into it. This might be my favorite of the whole vlog. You guys, this is such a good book. I have not been as into historical fiction lately, but oh my gosh, this book. One thing I'm really loving about it is the plot. I'm loving the main character of Martha as she's a midwife in like the late 1700s. So we're talking like Virginia just after like the Revolutionary War and all of this time frame, which I'm finding really interesting because it's adding extra things. It's adding kind of some like very Puritan-esque ideas and what kind of charges can be brought against somebody, and maybe there's not as much government. The court system isn't really set up yet, and prior to that, like the families would take care of the grievances, right? If there was something done to a daughter, because a lot of this is about like sexual assault and terrible things that happen to vulnerable women. So now into this plot where we have Martha, who was involved in seeing the woman that has accused these 2 men, these influential men, of sexual assault. And Martha is kind of a witness, but it's very complicated and it's not straightforward. And it's a lot of he said, she said, and it's really good. Okay, so you take just kind of that general premise, which would be really good even if you're talking like the 2000s, right? It doesn't have to just be the end of the 1700s, but what I'm loving about this book is how you are drawn in. The writing. The writing's outstanding, you guys. It's like, I feel like I am there. I feel like, wow, what would it feel like to be in this time frame, to be running a household and like making the candles because you need candles to make it through the winter sort of idea. Like, how would that all feel? And I feel like Ariel Lawhon is making it come alive. And I mean, our main character of Martha is outstanding. She has spunk, but yet she has some vulnerabilities. And so that's my update. I'm really loving it. I'll probably finish it and then get back to you guys because I'm flying through this. This was not my expectation. I knew I'd probably like it because so many of you liked it and so many people kind of across the board have liked it, but I didn't think I would be like compulsively reading it, which is how I am feeling. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I will keep reading. I'll keep reading and get back to you guys. You guys, I finished the book. I finished the book. I loved this book. I couldn't put it down. It is, okay, I almost said it's my favorite historical fiction book of the year, but there is The Women, which I loved also, but I just, man, this was so well written. This book, one, it just had an amazing story, and I highly recommend reading the author's note. So many people told me to do that, and I totally agree. It really brings out this story because it's based on a real person, which is mind-boggling to me. But let me get into my final thoughts. Let me collect my final thoughts. What I felt like was done so well in this book was, one, character development. Like, these characters felt really real. Like our main character of Martha, the midwife. You felt for her. You felt for her entire life because it was a little bit of telling her previous story. I mean, she's like 54 years old. She's had like 9 kids. She's had some loss. She currently has her set of kids, and this is, again, this late 1700s. So some of the backstory, which I found really interesting, was her parenting her adult children. So these are recent adults or about to be adults during this time frame. When you're talking very kind of Puritan-esque vibes where there's rules and regulations and cultural norms that were just so very interesting and told from the point of view of the mother, which I really liked as a mom who clearly I don't have like older kids, but someday I will. And just to kind of feel it from her shoes, I just really appreciate it. So I think I really resonated with her as a main character, which probably made the story even better. But again, the basic premise was this town and this accusation of sexual assault on these higher ups, right? I mentioned that in the last one. I won't talk about that again, but it follows that throughout, and it is such a good story, such an emotional story. I don't know what else to say. The characters were wonderful, the plot was wonderful, the setting was wonderful. I highly recommend this book to anybody, everybody. I feel like it handled sexual assault well. It handled it in a very historical way, which I felt was really good and really important. So 5 stars, hands down. I don't think I said that yet, but 5 stars. So this is my favorite book of this vlog, of your recommendations. And it kind of surprised me. Actually, I think originally, when did I put it second? Yeah. I think I put The Passage as the book I would like the most, and then Frozen River. So I just got them flip-flopped. This one, I gave like 4.5 stars. I loved, it was so good, just so different, and I'm definitely reading the rest of the series, but this one beats that. 5 stars for sure. So this was so much fun, you guys. I am so impressed with your recommendations. They're so good. Now I'm gonna go back to my list from the giveaway and just be like, what else do you guys have for me? Because it was so fantastic. And honestly, I always do write down your recommendations, any recommendations you guys give me in the comments. So please keep them coming, because obviously you guys did an excellent job. So that's the end of this vlog. I really enjoyed all the books, and I really appreciate all of you, especially all of you who gave me these recommendations. But otherwise, yeah, that's what I have. I hope you're doing well. I hope your summer is going amazing. And if you can't think of anything to say, let's just do a big sun, because it is the middle of summer and it feels like I've taken all summer to read these books, which isn't totally true, maybe half the summer. But a sun emoji if you want to just drop it in the comments to let me know you were here, because I love that you guys are watching these videos. But otherwise, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys in the next book video. All right, take care.